Welcome to the Seriously podcast. I'm your host, Annaliese Gann. Now let's get into it. Welcome to the Seriously podcast, where we make light of serious conversations with really interesting people. I'm your host, Annaliese Gann, and if you don't know much about me, I'm a curve model, influencer, content creator, and I've been in this industry for a very long time. So as a result, I know quite a few interesting people with very big platforms and profiles. And I thought, why not make a podcast where I'm interviewing these people and getting to know them behind their social media and on a deeper level. So on this episode, we're going to touch on that. So let me take you back to where it all first started. You probably know me from online if you're listening, from social media like platforms like TikTok, Instagram, or even Facebook if you're Gen Y or millennial. But I actually come from the country. I'm a country girl and proud, and I have only been in the city for the past 7 or so years. But before that, I grew up in a place called Bunbury, Western Australia. Now, Bunbury is a port town. It's 2 hours south of Perth. And I wouldn't say it's probably the most glamorous place, but it's the place that made me who I am today. I grew up on a hobby farm 20 minutes out of Bunbury in a place called Dardanup. It's actually known for being or having the best bakery in the southwest, by the way. Go and check it out. But I actually love where I grew up because it made me grounded in who I am today. But less about that, and let's get on to my modelling story. So I started modelling at the age of 15 when my sister was actually doing modelling classes, and the owner of the agency said, I would love for your sister to come in, probably because I was tall and giraffe-like, and I probably could take an okay photo as well. So I came into the modelling class, and honestly, it was like a flip. It's like a switch had flicked, because I felt like I was finally really good at something. I was never really good at sports. Like I was okay. I never won or anything like that. But when it came to modelling, I did really well straight away. And I thought, wow, I could really do well in something like this. So I did modelling classes at the local school in Bunbury for a few years before I got to about 19. And I thought, why not try to make this a job? Like, why don't I just try my best and see if this actually works out? Now, when this was happening, I was 19. I was applying to modelling agencies all over Australia, and I was pretending that I lived in Sydney so that they would meet up with me, because they probably didn't even know where Bunbury was, and I had to lie to get where I'm, okay? So I applied to agencies all over Australia, and the one who replied was Vivian's Models. Now, if you don't know them, they're a massive agency, one of the biggest in the country, and they said, okay, we'd love to meet you next Thursday. Now, I was in Bunbury at this point. I was a waitress. I was 19. I had $200 in my bank account, and I definitely did not live in Sydney. So what did I do? I booked a ticket one way to Sydney, and I applied for nanny jobs in Sydney because I could not afford the rent at all. And this could afford me to live in someone's house for free, work there, and hopefully live out my dream as a model. I know it sounds ridiculous, but this is like how risky I am with my behaviour. It's kind of paid off, I guess. But I applied. I got a nanny job within a week. I flew out to Sydney on the Wednesday, arrived on the Thursday, and of course I went to the meeting and I signed on the spot with Vivian's Models. Now, it wasn't all uphill from there. There have been a lot of ups and downs, but it was a great start to my career, signing with one of the biggest agencies in the country. From there, I modelled all over Australia with variety of clients, big clients, international clients. I've done amazing campaigns, runways, and this was actually a time before social media really took off, because from there and from 19, 20, 21, that's really when my social media presence started to pick up. Now, I had an Instagram account, but it wasn't really that big. I think I had 3,000 or 5,000 followers from high school, because I went to a massive high school and everyone followed each other. But social media wasn't a thing, and people didn't really use it to make money either. But I'll be honest, when I first started my Instagram, through my modelling photos, it really started to pick up and take off. People loved how I was showing body positivity and diversity, because this was before a time where plus size models were a thing. It was really the age and the birth of the plus size models. Like, they were finally on the covers of big magazines like Vogue and Cosmopolitan, and people were really starting to embrace different body types in the media. So they loved how I was posting my modelling photos on my social media accounts. And that really grew my following around that same time that plus size models were getting famous. So it was actually just the right place, the right time, and it just felt like the right thing to be doing. Fast track to now, I'm still modelling casually, but not as seriously as I once did with high-end agencies in places like Melbourne, Sydney and overseas. But I love my life and I wouldn't have it any other way. My life hasn't come to this place without trials and tribulations. This industry has massive ups and downs that a lot of people don't see. It's full of rejection and it's full of times where you really just want to quit and give up. There's been many times where I've wanted to give up on a regular basis, and I'm so lucky to have such an amazing support system that has pushed me to keep going. But this is why I wanted to make this podcast, because a lot of people see the glossy images online and they think, wow, I look up to this person, they have such a great life. But little do they know that this person has had so many failures, so many ups and downs to get to that image or to get to that place. So I really want to reveal the true lives and the true experiences of people in this industry to reflect that we're all human and on a deeper level, we're all the same. And that's why I'm making Seriously, to really open up the lives of influencers that you may look up to and think, you know what, I'm just like them. Maybe I don't have as glossy a photo, but we're all the same on some level. So welcome to the podcast. I hope you like this first episode and I can't wait to get into our first interview with our first amazing guest. I'll see you next week.